Guys, first half of the season's over. Festivities have begun. We had the home run derby last night. And I don't know about you, but the most memorable part was Ingrid Andress's drunk rendition of the national anthem, just sloshed.
Yeah, I mean, she put Fergie to shame. When Fergie did like that All-Star game one for the NBA that was bad.
Yeah.
We have a new crown, a new winner.
Like, she said she was drunk and she's going to rehab. I want to believe her, but like, this is like the only way she can save face, right?
I gotta be honest, like going to rehab, that's like a real like that's really committing to the lie if that's a lie.
I mean,
Like, it's
that's a
celebrity
lot.
rehab. It's not real people rehab. It's celebrity rehab.
I
Like, if
just
the
I feel like
publicist
she would
told
say that like her like she was sick or something if like she was trying to save face, not I'm drunk and going to rehab.
I
Which
don't
like
know.
that is not a laughing matter. If you need help, get help. But in this situation, the national anthem was quite hilarious.
Especially because I don't know, but I've never heard of her before.
I never heard
I
of
mean,
it
neither.
either.
So, like, for her to do it so poorly and say, yeah, I was drunk and I'm going to rehab, like, you're not at that level of stardom where, like, you can have us feeling bad that you had a drinking problem and did the national anthem for the home run derby.
Yeah, I mean,
We know
baseball
who you
fans are
are.
cruel as it is, anyways.
Like, we will boo our superstars.
Sports.
I mean,
fans
you already
in
booed the
general.
sport itself. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole last episode we just shit on the home run derby.
Exactly. So, like, to have, I don't want to call her a nobody, but like,
Not
a
A-list.
lesser known.
or
I mean,
B
we're
or C or D.
like we got to be at like C. This like is she just like a Texas artist? Is that like the deal?
I
Like,
thought she was like Grammy nominated though.
she was. I would have rathered OMG be played. Like, I think that would have been fun.
Have him sing.
Yeah, I don't often say that I could have done just as good a job as a professional at anything, but I could have done just as good a job.
There's also rumors that like there was an issue with her feedback loop into her ear where she couldn't hear herself, and
What a blessing for her.
and she couldn't get the pitch, and so she was all the highs and lows of her trying to match the proper pitch, and she couldn't hear it. But again, I think a lot of it's excuses.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard you list 3 for her, and
Yeah.
it's not like you're her manager, so
I mean,
It's
regardless of the excuses,
bad.
it was bad.
If you haven't heard it, you got to go back and listen.
yeah, some of us, like myself, boycotted the home run derby, so we didn't see it until 40 minutes later on Twitter.
I missed the start of the home run derby.
I was
missed
two screening. I was I was doing my Rutgers rebuild on the main TV, home run derby on the computer. Yeah, it was they
I
needed to
respect
like
it.
they needed to like block it out. I had my Teoscar Hernandez to win it all bet.
Yeah, over Bobby Witt. Yeah,
Over Bobby Witt too. I did have that. Not gonna lie.
the exacto.
Not gonna lie. I also did Teoscar over Alec Boehm just because the odds were astronomical.
Yeah, I bet your enjoyment level of the derby is skewed now because of the bet.
Greatest derby since 08.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Don't look over the fact though that Alec Boehm, bottom seed, was like tied for the most home runs in the first thing.
There's no seeding. There was no seeding in this.
Yeah, but he was like, I think he had the lowest home runs though.
So
Well, of course he did.
The lowest home run total going in.
So round 1, Boehm led us off. 21 home runs. Not bad, but I don't know about you guys, but I felt like 21 was going to get blown past like it has.
Not bad. Isn't like the record 28?
Yeah, but like you can hear them talking. Like, I don't think it's 28's the record.
Is it in one round?
I don't know. I've seen guys hit like 40, and
they
then,
change the rules every year, so I don't know
Yeah.
what like the record for a round means anymore.
Like, I know for a fact I've seen guys hitting the 30s in a round.
But that's probably under
but
rules.
I
like,
feel
that's
like
like where John's getting at.
Format. Like,
yeah, but this format's probably like what 2-3 years old.
You know what? This format's brand new because you have the 40 pitch limit in addition.
So there you go. Boehm's got the record.
Boehm has the 1 round record.
Well, he's tied for it.
Tied for it, right? Because Boehm let us off with 21. Bobby Witt then got 20. Adolis Garcia, 18. Teoscar Hernandez, first half, 19. So going into the back half of the first round, you have Bohm as the 1, Bobby Witt as the 2, Teoscar as the 3, and Adolis as the 4. Now, two-time champ Pete Alonso coming up. If you're Adolis Garcia, you're pretty scared.
Yeah.
Polar bears don't belong in Texas. 12 home runs. Bad showing by Pete there.
Hang
And then-
it up. This is
Hang
it,
it.
the home run derby, and I saw this, and I definitely think it's true. Teoscar winning obviously is going to be a little bit of an outlier to this, but I think it's really a young man's game with the time rounds because it's a cardio thing. So
Absolutely.
your Bobby Witt, your Bohm, a little bit younger. I saw before yesterday's derby that with the new timed rounds, there hadn't been a winner over the age of 26 since they started doing it that way.
That's I
crazy.
feel like that's a problem when you're doing a home run derby and you want like home runs. Like I feel like you're
Right.
severely limiting.
It's a cardio based event at this point.
Yeah. I mean, but it's
Yeah.
just well, not to mention like what I was saying like earlier about seeding. What I meant was it's like they had the people with the lowest home runs go first, and the higher home run totals went later on,
Mhm.
I believe. And I don't know, is that a good idea? Because then it's just like if the lower seeds hit more and stuff, they get more rest going into the second round then.
Yeah, it
Like,
definitely benefits you more. But
yeah.
also you could say something about getting into a rhythm too. Like if you start off earlier and then have to wait, you get the rest, but you lose all rhythm you had.
Yeah, but like Dylan said, it's a cardio thing. Like I feel like I'd rather the rest.
So now that we got Alonso, though, being the first player eliminated as the 5th guy going with 12 home runs, Jose Ramirez had a bad showing not too long ago. He got 21, tied Bohm for the lead, knocked out Adolis Garcia, the hometown guy. And also, real quick, to just backtrack to Alonso, only reason he was in the Derby is because he was an all-star. And he said he would only do the Derby if he was on the all-star team. So he took a spot away from a more deserving player and also 2 more deserving teammates just because this is what he wanted to do.
It's we lost Dylan.
Keep it rolling.
So but who else who else was in? Oh, but Gunnar Henderson, what did he do? Because he
So with that, it's, Adolis getting knocked out by J Ram.
Yeah.
Marcelo Zuna from the Braves now
That's right, he was
played. I thought he had a good shot to win, big, powerful guy. 16 home runs. He's eliminated. So now I'm sitting there. I got Teoscar Hernandez as my one guy to win it all because I had a feeling. And he's on the chopping block. All Gunnar Henderson needs to do is hit 20 or more.
and that should have been easy for him. Like you think for Gunnar Henderson, he's a younger
Young.
player, power, a lot of home runs. It's like you think that would have been easy. You think he even probably would have, he probably could have hit like over 21 too.
Yeah, I was surprised at his showing. 11 home runs, the least out of anybody. But Gunnar Henderson choked, which again I was glad to see because if he made it to the next round, my guy would have been the one to take the fall. So moving on to before we go to round 2 though, who was your most disappointing player, John? Like out of everybody that went, who did you feel the most disappointment in? Because for me, it had to have been Pete Alonso.
It's between Pete Alonso and Gunnar Henderson, honestly. I just because it's like Gunnar Henderson was like he was like the first one announced in the home run derby, correct?
Yeah,
And everything, and it's just like, and obviously he's an Oriole player, but it's just you expected a lot more. You didn't expect him to have such a terrible showing, and it's like up there. It's like it's hard to choose, and then like Pete Alonso, just like for him having been like a home run derby winner in the past, and then him to just like
Two-time winner,
Yeah,
two-time.
two-time, almost three. He could have been three-time if he had a better showing, but he just didn't have it. And I think they need to change the format again, honestly.
Just go back to outs.
Well, Ben, like in the group chat we have, Ben said, I think he said start off with 7 outs, you can earn up to 4 more outs, and just go back to that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the whole point of the home run derby is to hit home runs, it's not a cardio thing. You're not, it's not a race. It's not, baseball isn't a timed sport. It shouldn't
It's
be
not,
a timed sport,
but they
and it's
keep
just
implementing a clock.
I don't know why they're obsessed with time with clocks and having timers for everything all of a sudden. But I think you go back to outs. I mean, if you want to do a bonus round and have the bonus round be timed, where you just like unlimited, how many would I like no limit on pitches? If that you want to do that for like a bonus round, I
Yeah.
feel like it's backwards.
Or soft toss it if you're not going to
Yeah,
do soft toss. Let them get that. There's so many different ways they can go about it. I like how they're moving back towards the outs, especially even though it's the bonus round because it did cause some drama. But we all know that the best derbies have been 10 outs. Let the guys take their just best swings. Don't let them be timed and feel rushed. But going into round 2, they went back to that, versus format that they moved away from in the first round. So they let us off with the 2 versus the 3. So you had Bobby Witt Jr. versus Jose Ramirez. Bobby Witt was the 3. J Ram was the 2 seed. So Bobby Witt let us off with 17 home runs. Jose Ramirez lost all steam, hit 12. Bobby Witt onto the championship. Then you had probably the most fun round. You had Alec Boehm, John's guy, as the 1 seed versus my adopted guy, Teoscar Hernandez, the 4. Teoscar let us off, then followed by Boehm. Teoscar hit 14. Boehm choked it away, had a couple chances to win, and
he
only
should
hit
have. He
14.
needed one.
Should have.
He tied it up with 14, and I believe he had like about was like one almost like the last pitch. It just went foul, and then he went in the bonus time. You had 3 outs, and you can take pitches in the bonus round. Like you don't like. There's no time limit. You can
Yeah.
take pitches, and the
I believe
taking
he needed
pitches.
3 home runs in the bonus round.
He needed 1. No, no, that was the hit off. That was the hit off, the swing off or whatever. That because he was in the going to the bonus round, he had 14. He needed to hit 1 home run to get 15, and he went over Tesco Hernandez and won. And he had 3 outs to do it, and it's just like, why not just sit there and wait for a pitch that you know you're going to barrel?
Perfect
But
line.
instead, he was like rushing it. He rushed it, and then you went into the. I think they called it a swing off.
It's a swing off, so you get 3 swings, not 3 pitches, 3 swings.
3 swings.
It's either an out or a home run. Teoscar Hernandez went up first. First one was not a home run, but his second 2 swings were homers. So Boehm needed either 2 home runs and 3 swings to keep it going with another swing off, or hit a home run in all 3 swings to win it. And
He
I
whiffed
believe
on
he
the
only
first one.
whiffed in the first. I believe he only hit
Hit a
1
home run the second one, and then the third one, I think he just popped it up.
Yeah. So Teoscar Hernandez.
And then I turned it off.
Then you turned it off.
I
was
turned it off.
really
Went to
into
bed.
it. So then going on to the finals round, you had Bobby Witt Jr. versus Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar went first and hit 14 home runs. And then Bobby Witt hit 11, I believe, in his first round, went to the bonus round, hit 2 more, and then got 3 quick outs. He did have that extra bonus out. And on his last swing, he needed to tie it up with a home run, and it hit the wall. Warning track power. Could not get it done to tie it. Teoscar Hernandez won the home run derby. Nice little win for me. What do you think I got him at? What do you think his to win number was? What was his value?
For the
Home run derby, Teoscar Hernandez.
to be honest, I don't know much about sport. I don't know much about sports betting. Like this with like the payout.
Yeah, like what did they say? Like, Teoscar Hernandez to win was plus what?
1,000.
Plus 1,100 to win. So you win good money.
Then you bet on him like at the start, or was it
Bet
like
on him. Looking at my bet slip, I bet on Teoscar Hernandez to win at 4:42 p.m. on July 13th.
what luck?
And then on July 13th at 4:43 p.m., I bet Teoscar Hernandez over Bobby Witt Jr. I believe I texted you guys my bet slip.
I believe I may or may not have looked at it quick.
Teoscar Hernandez to win over Bobby Witt was at plus 7,000.
Come back from the internet and you're still bragging. Unreal.
Oh, I have to. It was a rough stretch. It was a rough stretch for me. I just recently hedged my Ohtani to win the MVP bet. I got him back in December at like plus 1,000. Made no sense. I mean, I guess it did make sense because he wasn't a pitcher, but he looks like he's going to run away with it. But I hedged it where I bet the field at plus like 340 or whatever it was, because why not be safe, right? Guarantee a win. But now that we have Teoscar Hernandez winning, Dylan, perfect timing. I got 4 questions, 4 trivia questions. Who hit the farthest home run in the home run derby last night?
Oh God, who's got the most pop out there? This is definitely trivia because I didn't even watch it, so it's just a shot in the
You
dark.
know the sport, you know the players.
I would guess Adolis Garcia. It's his home ballpark.
John, you watched.
I remember them saying it, and I want to say Adolis Garcia too. I want to say, or was it
Unfortunately,
Ozuna?
it's Marcelo Zuna from the Braves.
Okay.
He hit one 473 feet. So the unders definitely hit on that. Next up, though, who had the hardest hit home run at 111 miles per hour?
Bobby
Jose
Witt's got
Ramirez?
sneaky good exit velo.
So Bobby Witt is technically correct because he did it in round 2, but one player did it in 2 different rounds. There's a little bit of
Jose
a hint for
Ramirez?
you. Did not, no.
No.
I mean Garcia's good exit velo too.
But he only played 1 round, at least Garcia.
So it's either Bohm or
It's not
Hernandez.
No way, it's Bone.
It's not Bohm. It is Teoscar Hernandez. Did it in the first round and the finals. Hit a ball 111 miles an hour. Now, who had the furthest average distance of home runs at 430 feet?
So I think this could be sneaky for a guy who was out in round 1 because his average gets to be so much smaller. So I'm going to pick Pete Alonso.
It is not Pete Alonso.
I'm going to say Gunnar Henderson.
You're going to say Gunnar Henderson?
Yeah.
It's also not Gunnar Henderson.
No.
No, it is Teoscar Hernandez.
So he was just.
I guess he deserved to win, huh?
Yeah, he.
He's crushing it. And then the average exit velo.
Bobby Witt.
Highest average exit velo?
Highest average exit velo.
Pete Alonso?
So it was also Teoscar Hernandez at 106.5.
I just.
Was Bobby Witt close?
I would have to go back and look, but I
thought that
Bobby
this
Witt
was
was
like
close.
the sneaky one that was going to be Witt. I had thought you were like setting us up with multiple Teoscars. That way we would guess him and then
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, it wasn't Witt. I'm sure we can find it,
Nah.
but no, Teoscar, by the numbers, looked like he was the best, but it really didn't feel that way when you watched it. So I do want to go, though. Who was the most surprising team for you guys in the first half of the season? Let's go to that. What team surprised you the most?
Well, considering we're talking about Bobby Witt a lot, I'm going to say the Royals.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone thought that they were going to be this good.
I have a hilarious Royals story. I was at the office and me and a couple of work buddies were kind of bored. And do you know those ducky boat races? Like
Yes.
my buddy had a simulator and he had put all 30 MLB teams into it, a minute boat race, and whichever team won, we were supposed to bet their over, and the Royals won, and I didn't believe in it, so I didn't bet it. And so the Duckies were correct. Well, on pace to be correct.
I mean, I think we could saw the Royals probably would have been good in in a couple of years because you can tell
Yeah.
they were getting better and better. But I
Mhm.
don't think like you expected them to be this good this early. And Bobby Wood Jr. has just been like he's one of the best shortstops in all of baseball, and
You
probably
could
I would
argue he's
say
the best young star in baseball all around.
you can do that. Man, I think he's behind Henderson for best shortstop in the AL. But I mean, you can almost. I mean, you can. I think flip him.
That's the Orioles fan in you
It's the
talking.
Orioles fan in me, but I mean,
No love
honestly
for the
though, you can probably flip.
No
You can probably
love
flip
for the
him.
Parmesan Paisan. No love for Volpe.
He started off good, and then he just
Off a cliff.
off a cliff. I mean,
The team goes where Volpe goes. That's what I'm hearing.
I think that's what it is.
but I mean, like a lot. That's why it's a team sport, and not just.
Nope, it's all a Volpe sport for the Yankees, apparently.
What other team, surprised you guys in a good way this year?
For me, it's the Phillies, man. And we all kind of projected this to be a wild card playoff team. We kind of anticipated the Phillies would start off slow. The Braves would walk away with the division. Ben, for some reason, thought the Mets would be frisky. But, the Phillies have been the clear best team in baseball over the first half of the year. And it's not just a win-loss thing. You look deeper. They have the best rotation in baseball. They have 3 starters with an ERA under 3 right now, and that's not including Aaron Nola, who has a 3.38 ERA and leads the team in wins. And I know that wins isn't, a baseball nerd's favorite pitching stat, but you play the game to win. So it's got to count for something.
Yeah.
Harper's hitting over 300 at the All-Star break. He's got 21 homers. Alec Boehm, an All-Star year out of left field that I don't even think Phillies fans saw coming. A double machine, 70 RBIs, has been in the clutch. Trey Turner gets going the week before the All-Star break with some pop in the bat, and now you're like, great.
He's
They
batting
got
like
this.
40.
Yeah. I felt like every day he was hitting a home run too. But the Phillies are my surprise team just with how good they have been. I think they have to be World Series favorites right now. I know on betting sites it's still the Dodgers, but I just watched the Phillies manhandle the Dodgers.
Yeah, and for me, it's another red team. It's the Red Sox. I've been really impressed by a team who I thought was going to be the worst team in the American
We all
League.
thought the Red Sox were to be the worst team in the AL East.
In the AL East, yeah.
Yes, all of us did.
Nobody thought that they were the worst in the AL.
No.
Like who saw this at a Jaron Duran, Sedan Rafaela, just guys you just really didn't think were going to be good. Like, I mean, Devers everybody knew. Tanner Houck had talent. Brian Bayo, but Rafaela came out of nowhere. Duran was a good player, but a guy that should be, arguably an all-star starter, is insane production. Plus, Connor Wong is a very good catcher for them.
Mhm.
They're getting a lot of production in a lot of different places. Who can forget Tyler O'Neill back in April, that stretch he had?
The front office knew what they were doing somehow.
Somehow, some way they have who I think is the best manager in all of baseball, in Alex Cora.
Even their fans were not happy with the team, though, in the roster. Like, there were sell the team from Red Sox fans. So there wasn't even just like unwarranted hate from our two camps.
No, not many people had faith in Craig Breslow to build a winning team because they all felt that Kyle Bloom kind of had everything going and was just scapegoated.
Can you imagine if this team had just kept Chris Sale and had the season he was having?
I mean, Vaughn Grisham hasn't done anything for him. So the Red Sox have really surprised me. They're only, a couple games out of first place, if you really think about it. I think it's less than 5 out of first place. Yeah. So the Red Sox have been really impressive.
4.5.
Exactly, less than 5. Yeah. They're right there in the thick of it. But a team that, for me, hasn't really surprised me in a good way are the Cincinnati Reds. You have Ellie De La Cruz, who's playing really well, stealing a lot of bases. But this is a team who I thought would win a very weak NL Central. And at 47-50, they're kind of just meh. They're they're kind of bad. And I picked them almost as like a throw a dart in the wind and see what would stick. Let me not pick a favorite to win the division. But I thought the Reds would be a lot better and a lot more competitive than they've been.
Yeah, especially in like such an up for grab division in the
Yeah.
NL Central.
What about you guys? Who's kind of disappointed you this year?
For me, it's the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the team that both me and you predicted to win the AL East. There was just the thought of, you could shake your head, John, but this is, first off, the Rays are only 500. So it's not like they're a terrible baseball team.
True.
But this was the year where they kind of started playing to the talent that they have. They have the talent of about a 500 baseball team. I mean, Randy Arozarena has been disappointing, but the Rays have consistently for the better part of a decade just outplayed their talent on paper. And this year it finally caught up to them, their lack of wanting to pay players. And, in an AL East with Boston, with New York, with Baltimore, who is just a better version of what the Rays hoped that they could be, in Toronto, who's not going to be shy about spending money. Now we'll see if they ever can get it right, but they'll at least hand out the checks. They were in the Ohtani sweepstakes and we saw how much he got paid. So clearly they're willing to spend. Tampa might need a change in philosophy after this year.
I mean, John, you're shaking your head as a Philly fan. You get to beat up on the Marlins.
The Phillies don't get to beat up. The Phillies have out of all the teams, Phillies have such a hard time beating the Marlins. I don't know if you pay attention. I'm pretty sure they lost the home series against the Marlins this year already.
I watched the A's put up 18 on them.
And that's right before All-Star break. And
that doesn't count.
They were
Every
pitching
division's
by,
got that one team they can beat up on. The AL Central's got the White Sox. The West has got Oakland and the Angels, if you're really gonna go into it. NL East is Miami. NL Central, you have the Cubs, who aren't too bad, but it's just a bad overall division. And the NL West is the Rockies. The AL East, you have the Orioles and Yankees, who are two of the top 5 record-wise teams in baseball, followed by the Red Sox, and then the Rays are in third at 500.
Fourth,
yeah. And then the Blue Jays are in last place, and they're 8 games under. They're 44 and 52. That's not
the team
bad
that's in last place has the guy who was on the cover of the video game, which, I know it's not like everything, but they have clear talent.
They have talent. Bo Bichette, Vladdy. They got good players.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do want to know, though, what players. We talked about what teams surprised you good. What players, are your studs and duds for the first half this year? We talked about the A's as a bad team. They have a bright spot in Brent Rooker. That's my stud of the first half. They're DH in 83 games. He's hitting 302. My bad. He's got 302 at bats. He's hitting 291, though. 88 hits, 21 home runs, 62 RBIs, at 942 OPS. Brent Rooker is playing pretty well. Should be an all-star. He's not, but he should.
Yeah, I went pretty chalk. I took Aaron Judge mainly because I told you guys to bet him for MVP when he was at 8-1 odds to open the season. I didn't know why on earth he was there. He's now minus 300, so this is just kind of a victory lap on that. But he's batting 306 with 34 homers in 85 RBIs at the All-Star break. Those numbers are almost identical to Bryce Harper's full MVP season from a couple years ago. So Aaron Judge,
better than Bryce Harper.
He is God.
It's hard to argue that.
There's not a hitter like him on the planet.
And he started bad. I can only imagine what his stats would be if he just started average.
40 home runs by now.
So I guess I got an easy one here. Alec Boehm. I mean, I don't think anyone saw him, I feel like he's been one of the biggest surprises in all of baseball.
Do you think he still hates it there in Philly?
I don't think so. I think that's done. That's behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's behind him. I mean, I know. I feel like you don't bat you wouldn't want to bat 295 at a place you don't like.
Why?
with 70
hun-
RBIs, 11
Could
home
still
runs.
try and get hundreds of millions of dollars.
He's still Hunters. I don't think he's up
I'm sure
there. I
he
don't.
likes it.
Yeah, actually,
He'll never
think
be
he
as
likes
beloved
it
as
now,
Bryson
though.
Stott, though. He
Hmm?
needs to understand that he'll never be as beloved as Bryson Stott.
But he probably won't be as hated as Nick Castellanos is ever.
Yeah, I've
I don't
never
know.
seen somebody go from
Alec
beloved
Boehm
to
was pretty hated.
He
Before
was,
he
but
got
I
good, he
think
was
they hate.
pretty
I
hated.
think they hate Nick Castellanos more. But I mean, Alec Boehm has just been crazy. I mean, he has 70 RBIs with 11 home runs, and it's like how many home runs does how many home runs does Judge had? And he has like 80
34,
with like what 85 RBIs,
84.
84 RBIs. Like
The,
so, like
the
that's
double machine, Alec Boehm.
yeah, double merchant. That's why it was crazy to see him hit 21 home runs in the first round of the home run derby.
That's how he
Is that
got
like
in the
more than like
derby.
his season high in his career?
I don't know.
I don't think he's hit 20 home runs in a season, right?
Last year he hit 20.
Hit 20 on the dot.
Yes, 20 on the dot. Year before that, he hit 13.
So he had more home runs in the Derby than he did in his
in a season.
Like in his whole career, though.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the first round.
So
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but I think he's been a big surprise. How good he's been.
Now, somebody who hasn't really been a good surprise is Pablo Lopez, the smartest man in the Twins pitching staff. You hear that every time, the Yankees play, his parents are doctors. He went to medical school, Pablo Lopez, but he just can't figure out how to pitch this year. He's got a 5.11 ERA. He's 8-7 at 19 games started, 104 innings pitched. He's given up 100 hits to 59 earned runs, 60 runs given up, 23 walks, 121 strikeouts. He's got a 1.18 whip and a 244 batting average against. He was somebody who, the Twins acquired for Luis Arias, and just this year he's not living up to that potential. That is a high ERA.
Wasn't he in talks to be like a favorite Cy Young candidate at the start of the season too?
Yes, he was. He was, I think, up there the top 5 favorite statistically.
I don't think we should discuss who we picked for Cy Young candidates because I think that may have been who I picked.
Well, I'll go back and look so we can fact check this.
I think somebody picked him, if I remember.
Maybe
correctly.
it was me.
It might have been me, for all we know.
I think you picked Pepiot. That might have been Ben.
I did pick Ryan Pepiot, who's out for the year. I was really trying to dig deep in the bag on that one.
Somebody picked Eflin, I thought.
I think I picked Wheeler.
For the AL? What was wrong with you?
Not AL. I mean, I know I picked Wheeler for one.
Yeah, I picked Ryan Pepiot and Hunter Green for the NL Cy Young.
Do you have our picks there as well?
Yeah. I know I picked. I think I picked Wheeler for one.
Wait, I do have your picks as well. Going to the Outsider Sports website, outsidersports.net, has all of our pre-season picks.
Yeah, we'll have to take those down before this goes up.
I found mine in my notes. I picked Corbin Burns.
That makes sense. You Oriole fan. Well, Corey's looking
He's also really good.
Oh, I got it right here. Our AL MVP picks. I picked Kyle Tucker while Dylan and Ben both picked Aaron Judge and John picked Juan Soto. NL MVP, I picked Mookie Betts. Dylan, you picked Pete Alonso to win the MVP. Ben picked Shohei Ohtani and John picked Ronald Acuna Jr.,
who is sadly done.
My
ACL
Pete Alonso logic was contract year, which it's
not
still
bad logic. Cy Young for the American League, I picked Ryan Pepiot, really trying to think that the Rays were going to finally do it with a no-name guy. John, you picked Corbin Burns, who's now, I think, the favorite. I don't know who picked a worse one between you and Ben, Dylan. Dylan, you picked Pablo Lopez, and Ben picked Carlos Rodon. Ben picked Rodon.
I knew that I had picked Lopez as soon as you said it.
NL Cy Young, I picked Hunter Green. Dylan picked Zach Wheeler, Ben picked Zach Gallen, and John picked Zach Wheeler.
I know that nobody's going to believe me, but I really was debating between Pablo Lopez and Tariq Skubal, and I went Lopez.
Wrong AL Central guy.
Yeah.
AL Rookie of the Year, though, I picked Wyatt Langford. Dylan picked Evan Carter. Ben picked Colt Keith. And John picked Evan Carter.
Good thinking, John.
Yeah, he had a big playoff thing. Like, he was so good at the end of last year.
Who's the favorite to win that right now? Let me pull up.
While you pull that up, NL Rookie of the Year, I picked Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Dylan picked Jung Ho Lee. Ben picked Michael Bush, and John picked Jackson Cherio.
Well, none of us got that right.
No.
I remember talking on the show about Skeens, and none of us thought he was going to have enough playing time.
But he had enough to make the All-Star team.
And Wyatt Langford is currently plus 135, and Luis Heel is plus 170. And then
How did we forget about Heel?
Thousands. Tariq Skubal is actually the favorite to win the Cy Young, not Burks.
Oh, yeah? AL Manager of the Year.
Chris Sale is the favorite to win the NL Cy Young.
Is he really?
It's crazy. Imagine if the Red
Paul
Sox
Skeens is third.
He might win it.
I mean, Judge and Ohtani, I know, are both like minus money to win the MVPs now.
Yeah, there's betting lines for them versus the field. Aaron Judge is minus 340. The field is plus 260. Ohtani's minus 380. The field's plus 280.
So I took Ohtani's field plus 280 just to hedge my Ohtani plus 1,000 bet.
Yeah, I'm not taking the field against Judge.
No, but I'd rather win money than the off chance that, he gets hurt and loses.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
AL Manager of the Year, though, I picked Joe Espada from Houston, Dylan Rocco Baldelli from Minnesota, Ben went Aaron Boone, and John went AJ Hinch.
Oh, Ben.
Oh, Corey and Dylan are going to be embarrassed on this next one. And John, all three of us are going to be embarrassed.
I think all of us, I'm pretty sure I picked.
Ben picked NL Manager of the Year. Ben picked Dave Roberts. Me, Dylan, and John, all three of us picked Craig Counsell to win NL Manager of the Year.
He might be fired.
Yeah.
And now, just to keep it going, since we only have a few more things to go over in our predictions, our AL and NL home run leaders. I had Yordan Alvarez hitting 45 and Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting 42 home runs, leading their respective leagues. John, you had Aaron Judge hitting 48 home runs. He might hit that before September's over. You also had Pete Alonso at 51 home runs. He might hit that midway through next year. Ben had Judge with 48 and Alonso at 57. You can tell the bias on that one. And Dylan had Aaron Judge hitting 49 home runs and Pete Alonso 55 home runs. A lot of
There's a clear bias here.
I'm a Yankees fan. I don't know what you mean. There's a clear bias. I was really high on Pete Alonso's betting odds for these things, and once again, kids, the book knows what they're doing.
Always.
They trapped me.
Unless it's having Ohtani at plus 1,000 or Judge plus 800.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the book couldn't have predicted Acuna and Mookie Betts just getting hurt, though. Like, if those guys had stayed healthy, I think that Ohtani line is
Bryce
fair.
Harper's still right there. But then, lastly, we have our World Series picks midway through the year. Who wants to hear theirs first?
I remember mine. I know mine.
I mean, his is just Phillies Orioles, right?
It's Phillies Orioles.
Phillies over Orioles in 6 games, which very possible. Ben went Yankees over Dodgers in 6.
Still alive.
Me and Dylan both had the Astros in our World Series because we've been hurt too much.
I just knew if I bet on them, it would jinx them.
So I had Astros over Phillies in 5. Dylan had Braves over Astros in 5.
I'm not saying that it won't happen, because I've seen the Braves win a World Series without Acuna before.
But now they don't have they don't have Strider now.
Yeah, but instead they have another Cy Young and Chris Sale that we didn't think they'd have.
You're right. You're
But
right.
I mean, like that's gonna hurt come playoffs. Like I mean,
I'm
like,
not.
you're
I'm
missing
not. I
Strider.
wouldn't remake the bet right now.
No.
If our mid-season
It's
predictions
alive
for
though.
World
It's alive.
Series,
It's alive.
I would
It's alive.
update mine to I would still leave the Astros, but I think I would put the Phillies in and call it a rematch, and I think I'd have the Phillies beat them in 6.
Corey, would
Right
you
back
change yours?
No, Astros over Phillies. Somehow, some way, and
That
we're not
makes sense.
giving Ben the opportunity on his monstrosity. Yankees winning, like he's trying to jinx it.
Hey,
But
that still has life.
yeah, it's like an iron
They just beat the Orioles in Baltimore in a series.
in a series. They should have won all three.
Yeah, but progress is progress. Let's see what they do at the deadline.
Now, finishing up though, what players were you guys, highly disappointed in for the first half of this year?
Corbin Carroll was mine. This is a guy who, was in MVP conversations going into the year, a guy who would just led his team to a World Series appearance as a rookie, had high expectations, and he's kind of stunk the bed. He's been decent the last week, 4 hits on 15 at-bats with 7 RBIs, so maybe he'll get it going in the second half of the year, but batting .212 in the first half of the year, not what you like to see. 5 home runs only, a .635 OPS. I think Corbin Carroll's lack of success could be attributed to the Diamondbacks' lack of success.
I think
Like, they
Corbin
go hand in hand.
Carroll's been struggling with an injury too.
I'd believe it. I don't.
And I think you got the sophomore slump.
Yeah, the one that the Orioles were supposed to have.
Yeah,
What about you, John? Who are you most disappointed in?
you're gonna like this. And I almost said something earlier because you were saying he was good earlier. He was a good
I just
player.
said he
He's
had name
not.
value. He has
Bo
he's got
Bichette.
name
Bo
value.
Bichette is having a terrible season. I
Oh,
don't know
no.
why I picked him over Bobby Wood Jr. in fantasy. I had a chance to pick either or, and for some reason I went Bichette.
You should have your
Ew.
fantasy privileges revoked.
I'm
know, like,
winning.
even
I'm winning. I'm
I
winning
know-
the league.
I know hindsight is 2020, but even with just the amount of base stealing Bobby Witt does, like, you should have picked him.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Boba-
hindsight.
Yeah, but Bo Bichette. I
maybe-
mean, last year Bo
Maybe
Bichette.
hits were big in John's league because Bo Bichette led the league in hits.
Well, Bo Bichette had 20 home runs last year. He was batting over 300 last year. So it's like, and I thought the Blue Jays were like a half decent team, but I was wrong. Terribly,
Yeah.
terribly wrong. But he's batting .222 this year with only 4 home runs, 30 RBIs, an OPS of .596. Now, granted, he was hurt this year a little bit. I think he missed like 20 games. But I mean, like when you go like, if he stays out the rest of the year, like that's not that many
Mm-hmm.
out of 162 game season. But it's like he's just terrible. He's absolutely terrible. I can't imagine, like, my disappointment in him is just I can't be any
Blue
lower.
Jay slander will be
You're not
accepted.
going to catch me feeling bad for him.
No, he's just it's and he's been kind of a little, he's been established a little bit while, now as like a good player.
Where does he get traded?
Who needs a shortstop? Because I feel like a lot of teams can use a shortstop. I mean,
Bo Bichette to the Phillies takes over second base.
no, the Philly fans would have a riot if they get rid of Stott.
They're better off with Stott.
They're better, honestly. They're better with Stott.
What are the Blue Jays trying to get back? Like, are they trying to get back in the mix this year, or are they just trying to get young assets?
They just gonna sell the team
should.
and just.
They should
Sell.
try to get young assets, and they should tear it down. They're far behind every other team in their division.
Bo Bichette to the Astros, and then he becomes good all of a sudden again?
That would be our luck. Maybe send Vladdy with them in a two-player package. They need a first base. John Singleton's not going to cut it with them. But just to end it up, though, end of the first half, what is your favorite first half memory? I know for me, we could talk about Aaron Judge's May. and that is an all-timer. But I'm going to go specific. The Yankees, like the third week of the year, were playing the A's, and Judge was up and was called out on strikes. Except the A's pitcher balked on the third strike pitch, so Judge got another life. And on the very next pitch, he hit a home run, one of the very few he hit in April. So he struck out and hit a home run all in the same at bat. And it was, I don't know why that resonated with me. I just thought it was one of the funniest, most, this is what happens to winning teams. They get lucky like this. Little did I know, winning doesn't last forever.
Yeah, luck certainly does not in baseball. My favorite memory also Yankees. We may have peaked to open the season sweeping the Astros. If I got to go to a specific memory, it's actually going to be Juan Soto's throw to home plate. I just felt like when he did that and Verdugo was barking, I was like, this team's different.
And
Oh, the days.
they are literally the same as 2022, if not worse. John, what about you? What is your favorite memory?
I mean, for me, I almost just want to say the Phillies finally having a hot start to the season and not totally sucking the first half. But I'm gonna have to go with a more recent. I guess it's more recent happened, like just before that. The halfway mark for the season is them sweeping the Dodgers. I mean, that's just great when you can sweep a team that I'm assuming a lot of people still, they're. I think what you said there earlier, still favorite to be in the World Series and stuff and everything. It's
I
like
believe the Dodgers are still the favorite to win it.
yeah, so like to even just have them just having them sweep it is it's good. It just was great to watch. I watched all three of the games. I mean,
Yeah, the Dodgers are plus 320 to win the World Series, the Phillies plus 420, the Yankees plus 550, Baltimore plus 700, the Braves plus 800, and then we get to the Guardians and Twins at plus 1800. You hear that? Astros plus 2000 right now, Corey.
Licking my chops over here.
you should change.
Now, even so, since Ben's not here to defend himself, I'm assigning Ben's favorite memory as Grimace. And
I don't think Ben would have a single issue with that.
But he'll have an issue with the next thing I'm going to say. If the Mets do make the playoffs, I feel like Ben should dress up as Grimace and come on the pod.
I think all Mets fans should dress up as Grimace.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's settled.
It's settled.
The eyes have it.
Playoffs has to come on that playoff preview pod dressed up as Grimace.
Now we'll know if Ben watches these episodes all the way through.
Do you think the Mets would partner with like McDonald's and them to get like official Grimace gear?
Pete Alonso's not partnered with McDonald's?
I don't know, but like the Mets in general, like
clean eating Pete,
to get like actual official Mets Grimace gear.
I'm sure that they're doing
on
with that. They got their Shake Shack and stuff. You don't want to do too many fast food type burger joints.
We'll say that Ben has 2 weeks to respond. Otherwise, we just assume he's also an eye.
Yes, I think that's good. But that's going to do it here for us. We'll talk beginning of the first half next week, second half next week. Maybe make a couple bold predictions
for the trade deadline.
Oh, of course, trade deadline. But with the with the playoffs expanded, who knows who's in and who's out? But we'll discuss it. So that's going to do it here. John, Pauline, Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel. Keep tuning in. We'll have rankings still every week. Outsidersports.net. Keep finding us on YouTube. We'll be right there for you.